Oh, man. We are live, and I am heavily caffeinated. It is Saturday morning here, but our guest is in Germany, and it is evening there. I am your host, Daniel Crozier. This is COFOH Live Undead, and I am here with Lucia Ciafarelli of KMFDM. Holy shit! You have something on my face. Lucia, how are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on. I know it's getting a little late in Germany. Yeah, I think it's what, 7 o'clock up there?
Yes.
Okay,
A
good.
little later than it is by you.
Yeah, it's still a little light outside, so that's good. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. This is super exciting to have you.
Absolutely. I'm honored to be invited. Thank you.
Oh, appreciate it. So Lucia, tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you got into music.
I have always loved music. I was singing into a hairbrush when I was, 4 or 5 years old, listening to all the records that my older brother and sisters were playing. I come from a big Italian-American family, and there's always been music in the house. My father loved to sing. My grandmother sang in the opera and in church. And, there was always music around. It was always a part of our life. And I got the bug early. And I guess I decided when it was quite obvious that I didn't really have any academic gifts.
I know that feeling.
What the hell else am I going to do? Well, I love music. So I always loved to write poetry, and I love to sing. So I started taking voice lessons when I was in high school and junior high school in New York City.
Right.
And through my voice teacher, I started, making contacts. And then I interned at a recording studio in Long Island called City Sound Studios, and started meeting more people. And then I started a band and graduated, moved to New York City, and then it just kept going and going and going until finally I had my band Drill, and we got our first record deal. Yeah.
Cool. Man, that's cool. And with Drill, here's like one of the album covers. How many albums did you guys end up putting out?
Well, that was actually the only one that was official. The second one has never been released. I'm still trying to figure out a way to do that, because it was technically, we were supposed to release it on A&M, but shortly before the release, there was a huge record company merger, and we got lost in the shuffle. They just, lots of people did, and we got dropped. And that's actually when I moved into joining MDFMK.
Okay.
And later segueing into KMFDM.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And your segue into KMFDM, that was around, I think, 2002, right?
A little earlier. Well, first MDFMK, which was around 2000, and then later into KMF. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, and one of the reasons I reached out and wanted to start conversations with musicians is that awesome intersection of music and horror. What are some of your big like horror film and music influences?
Well, the thing is like I have been influenced by horror my whole life in every way. I mean, when I was a kid, um, I think actually the very first horror film I ever saw was a 1970 film called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever hear of that one?
Yep, I know of that one.
And Phantasm and all these kind of movies.
Phantasm is awesome.
Right?
Oh, so cool.
Rosemary's Baby and
Yes.
Harry and The Shining. And, this kind of the genre really spoke to me because I was the kind of kid that I would think I was talking to ghosts at night. And I was always speaking to, the other side, not specifically to angels, but I always felt like there was somebody else there.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily have an imaginary friend or anything, but I was definitely kind of so mesmerized by the films that I was watching at such a young age. I really absorbed it and took it in and started making up stories in my head. So whenever I approach a song, the first thing that happens is I hear the music, and that immediately gives me a sensation. Okay, well, what's the vibe of the song? Is it going to be, is it something dark and creepy,
right,
or is it something, fast and kind of driving? But when it's the dark and creepy stuff, I do tend to just fall into the story of something creepy.
It can be really enticing, really inviting, isn't it?
It is, but it's not in a bad way. Right. I mean, some people, I think, have this misperception that anything that's kind of dark or, evil. Yeah. Some people don't like to look me in the eyes because they think, but it's just another aspect of all of our personalities, right? We explore them, and
right.
Much in the way that an actor embodies a character when they go into a film or on stage, right?
True. Yeah. There's something I think really exhilarating, with like music in general, like with heavy metal, goth, industrial, psychobilly, that really plays with the supernatural and the darkness, and it's really exhilarating. Do you find that working with the band with KMFDM and previously with Drill, that it was exciting to kind of explore some of those themes?
It's always exciting to explore those themes.
Yeah,
it always is, because I have to draw the thread back to when I was a kid. I mean, watching Halloween and Friday the 13th and The Omen, and I think I said Rosemary's Baby, but there's so many more. I mean, I've got a list here of the movies that Frankenstein and Dracula. These things were, some kids didn't want to watch them, but for me, it felt like as natural. I was a duck to water. It just spoke to me. It was my language. And I thought, this is so fascinating and scary, but cool. And I like it. And I have this natural thing about me that is kind of creepy and scary. So I can be.
Yeah.
So it just, I move with it. And, I just find it fascinating, and when I write, or when I'm on stage, I want to take on the personality of the song and bring it to life. I just love it. Yeah.
I think there's that experience with the search for the unknown, and also like with a lot of those characters too, they're kind of referred to as like the outsider, those monsters of horror and stuff. And I think that speaks so well to counterculture.
Yeah, well, I've always felt that way, and
Yeah.
I've always felt a little bit like a monster.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
because yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons for that. There's all sorts of reasons why we feel different and like the outsider, whether you're not popular in high school or you're rejected by your family or you're abused or
Mm.
this or that. These things bleed into the character that you become as you develop. And, um, you know, it is like a rebel attitude, but it definitely, all of these factor into feeling like an outsider for a lot of folks, myself included. And I play on that. I play on those stereotypes because I understand them really well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you know, playing off of that and like, using a lot of those themes. I mean, it plays really well, I think, on stage. You see, well, we were talking earlier before we went live about how you and Sasha, look like action figures in some of, kind of larger in life on stage, and also, in your, your stage, your garbs and everything. And to me, it's very iconic. And at the same time, I was thinking too, it's like, hey, these guys would make, amazing, characters in a horror movie or something, like your Freddy, your Freddy Krueger or your Jason Voorhees, or, something, more sleek, like your Dracula. You see Dracula re-envisioned every generation, always with a new look. What's that? I'm sorry.
It should be me. I should be the next Dracula. I would love that.
I would agree. That would be us. You guys are in Europe too. I mean, Romania is not that far away.
No, we haven't gotten there yet. We're busy all the time. We're always making records. We're always making music. And
cool.
So, I get to live in these creepy, strange places through the songs just about every day. And, it's everybody thinks because we live in Europe, oh, well, you can just go anywhere. Well,
True.
Nobody can go anywhere right now, but
not with COVID. Yeah, how is things in Germany with the pandemic?
I think we're not doing as well as some other countries with the vaccine distribution, and we're very fortunate to live in a suburban area that's very beautiful, so we can go out and we can walk around and be surrounded by beautiful trees and forests. But the supermarket, is not interesting anymore. It would be nice it would be nice to spend some time with friends.
Yeah.
Which, we're not doing that. We're really trying to be strict about who we have contact with so that we don't get sick. But I don't think that there's a vaccine here that's going to be distributed anytime soon. I think it's going to be a while. So,
yeah. My understanding here in the States was Germany had this, pretty well in hand, but it doesn't sound like that's the case.
Well, there was the head of the EU in Belgium was in charge of the vaccine, and look, in all due respect, everybody wants to make sure the vaccine's safe. So they wanted to go through all their protocols. But while they were doing that, the rest of the world was buying up the vaccines.
Oh, I see.
So now that we have to wait for, production, and Germany is a big country. So we have a lot of people and we don't have nearly what we need. But hopefully by summer.
Yeah.
God, I mean, it's like.
I know. Come on already. Let's get the show on the road.
It's going to take time.
Yeah, I know. It's incredibly frustrating. I want to see you guys out on the road, and you're also working on your own solo album. Is that right?
I have just completed it, and I am really, really, I'm very excited. I never imagined that I would make another solo record in quite this way. So it feels like a huge milestone for me.
Nice. Congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I understand there's a lot of kind of horrific elements and that kind of played into that as well.
Well, I wouldn't say so much horrific. I would say
Sure.
more, ghostly or touching on some real out of this world stuff. I don't know what it was. It was 2000, the winter of 2019, and I had just turned 50. So that's a real turning point in a person's life, and I think I arrived at this moment, and I always thought that an opportunity would come along when I would be offered the opportunity to make another solo record. It's kind of delusional, but I actually thought that something would happen and the right circumstances would present themselves and I'd get the opportunity to do another one. But in late 2019, I had the epiphany. I was like, it's not going to happen. If it's ever going to happen, you're going to have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend, and she's really into, tapping into the dark side and into witchcraft and all this stuff. Not dark magic, but she likes the occult, and I don't dabble in it, but I always am fascinated by anything that has to do with the other side. I think it's fascinating. And she said she knew somebody who was a psychic, and that maybe I should speak with them. He was also an artist, and he said, I want to make you something. I want to make you a talisman.
Cool.
Said, I want to make me a talisman. He's like, I really like you. I want to make you a kind of talisman. So I want you to just tell me a little bit about you. And, what is the one thing you always wanted? I said, I'd really love to make another solo record. I'd really love to finally make this record. I'd really love to see this happen. And he was like, okay, well, why do you think you deserve it? And I was like, I've been working at it a really long time, man. Yeah. I've been out there and doing all this stuff. And he was like, okay. And then he's like, well, I'm going to make it for you and I'll let you know when it's done. And I was like, okay. And we exchanged all of this via email, and then some really weird shit started happening.
Ooh.
Really weird stuff. 24 hours after I spoke to him, I did something I never did before. I just opened my computer, turned on GarageBand, and I started putting music together.
Nice.
And I wrote the first song, and it was about meeting somebody on the other side. But I woke up out of a dead sleep and just started automatic doing it. I just started doing it. And then the next day, now I'm not a runner, okay? I'm not a runner at all. I don't run. Then the next day, my daughter needed something, and I ran up the stairs and I ran down, and my legs get tired usually when I run up and down 5 flights of stairs, but I was running up and down really easily. I was like, oh my God, I feel great. And as soon as I said that, a voice in my head said, now go run. And I was like, what? And I put on my sneakers and I ran for 90 minutes like I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And then I came home and I wrote the second song. And then
man, that's amazing.
Then Sasha heard something playing, and he was like, what is that? I was like, it's something I wrote. And he was like, oh, what are you doing? And automatically it just fell out of my mouth. And I said, I'm going to write my next record. And he was
cool.
Well, if you're serious, I'll help you. And I
Yes.
said, okay. And, we were scheduled to go on the road with Ministry
Mm-hmm.
for several runs over the spring and fall. But with COVID, that was all off.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, as devastating as that was and is for everybody on all their own personal levels, it really opened a door for me to be able to focus on making the record. And so I did that. And over the course of making this record, so many odd, strange, beautiful things happened that left no doubt in my mind that, we are we're living side by side with like a whole other reality that we can't
Right.
see, but is always there, and we can activate it if we truly want to. So that just kind of made me want to watch everything on,
Yeah. Yeah.
every I'm like, oh, just anything and everything having to do with the unknown,
Right. Right. That's pretty cool. That having all those experiences and also compelling you to make brand new art. I mean, it sounds like it just started flowing. Like a faucet. That's awesome.
It was, and it's like my musical autobiography. I mean, it's not everything. It doesn't cover everything, but
Mhm.
it was like I fell down this metaphorical, rabbit hole and caught these parts of my life in a butterfly net. And I was like, oh, that's a good song. That's a good song. I'm going to write about this and that and this and that.
Nice.
And I hope that people don't only learn more about me, but that they discover themselves in these songs too.
Yeah.
That they find songs, because I think it will connect with a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Oh, that's wonderful. We've got Richard here. He's been chiming in. Looking for Strange was dark and creepy. I think he's wondering if your new album is industrial horror punk.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think the intention when I made this record was I wanted it to sound like a soundtrack. I wanted to.
Cool.
I wanted it. For instance, I played a couple of things for Sasha that I really liked, and I said I want it to feel like it could be a film. So it's got some pretty dramatic feelings throughout it, but I would definitely not say that it's specifically industrial at all. I think you would say more like if Prometheus.
Ooh, okay.
If you took like Prometheus and mixed it with Depeche Mode and mixed it with like
that's an exciting blend.
Some people it's edgy,
Yeah.
and sexy and dark and cool. I would say it's probably more goth than it is industrial.
Okay. Cool.
I wanted people, no matter which song they were listening to, I wanted them to be able to move.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
A bit of EDM and dance in there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely dark. It's definitely
good. Good. Yeah. Dark is such a a wonderful texture to kind of have in music. The you were talking about goth as being a bit of an influence and describing your new album as that. The I've traced some of the roots of like goth and industrial and some more melancholy type musical genres to well, I shouldn't say melancholy. That's just kind of a note, so to speak. But to such acts as like Screaming Jay Hawkins back in the 50s.
Absolutely.
And having that big stage presence, and Also that sound. I remember, seeing how they recorded. I Put a Spell on You for the second time, and everybody just just getting blitz drunk and playing everything, in the moment, exuberant, inebriated, and just having a really good time. It didn't make, much radio play, but it set the stage and the tone for everything else that, that would come before it, or come after it, I should say. Is that something like, with the stage presence and like kind of that Grand Guignol style of performance? Is that something that you and KMFDM and what you did with drill? You ever consider where those roots come from?
Well, for me, I was somebody who came up a long time ago. So of course, those are influences for me. And, you can't see a show like Alice Cooper live, or,
Right.
The Sisters of Mercy, or any of these things that are so darkly inspired, or Diamanda Galaz. I mean, when I saw Plague Mass, that was like a horror movie.
Ooh, nice.
That was heavy duty shit. And, I come from a place that is completely influenced by performance art in a way, because we didn't have a lot of the tools that people have now.
Yeah.
And the themes and the genres and the trends that are happening now that are really in the forefront, in some respects, in some respects,
yeah,
they make things easier in a way. Like, when I was coming up, for instance, you didn't have all these filters and you didn't have all these things. You had to come up with everything really organically.
Yeah.
And so when I go on stage, I really approach it from an old school kind of perspective, where it's almost like performance art, and it's very spontaneous. It's never choreographed.
Yeah.
And it changes from night to night depending on what happens before the show. So there's always another take on it.
Right.
It's spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And, we aren't, I'm sure the other boys in the band don't feel this way, but for me, it feels like we're actors on a stage, because whatever was happening earlier, we bring it to the stage and we bounce and communicate off each other in all these different ways. And they all are, whether they would knowingly admit it, they're creepy. They have this thing about them that's really, edgy, and we complement each other a great deal.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, and putting on a costume to do that helps a lot, because it just makes you embody a character. And when I'm writing the songs by myself, so I write with Sasha, but we don't actually do everything together. He'll give me music and I'll go off on my own and I'll write. And I tend to really, I become what I write. In order to have the full experience, I have to become that character, know. I mean, whether it's Professional Killer or Hello or any of these songs, I imagine what it is to be those characters. And then when I take it to the stage, I want to make sure that I am that, because how better to make somebody feel the song than to be the complete embodiment of it, even if it is Jeffrey Dahmer,
Right.
Well,
yeah. Even with Jeffrey Dahmer, at least he had taste. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. Terrible joke. I think it's really refreshing to hear that because, as I said, you're on stage, and I think I saw you guys in 2002. I think 16 Volt might have opened for you guys at the Ogden here in Denver.
Absolutely.
And incidentally, just down the street from the Wax Tracks, record store. And I remember KMFDM was on Wax Tracks label. I think that was based out of Chicago.
Absolutely.
In the U.S. And the live show for KMFDM, my take is, it's so energized. It's the darkness and the melancholy is there, but at the same time, it's like heavy caffeinated dance party, and it is so fun. But you still got the roughness and then the hardness and the edginess to it, and it's just absolutely exhilarating. So, in hearing you talk about how you want to embody those songs, do you find yourself on stage your performance and character would change song to song?
What usually happens is, and this is rolling back just a little bit before I get on the stage, I spend about 2 hours by myself getting ready for the show. And I do that in order to completely separate myself from my normal reality. And I stretch and I put my makeup on. It's almost some kind of meditative thing. And when I go on the stage and I perform each song, as soon as we step on the stage, something changes.
Yeah.
The energy changes. It's a look that you give everybody in the band, a look. It's like, are we good? Are we ready? You good? And it's like, boom.
Right.
And every song does embody something different. And everybody knows that. It's almost like a symbiotic, unspoken thing where every song has a different rhythm, a different theme. And, for me, especially as a singer or somebody who wrote a particular song, I'm aware of these changes in a different way than them because from one song, you're talking about something that's really politically driven, going to something that's really creepy and dark. I don't necessarily feel melancholy in it. There's power. There's power. There's not sadness in KMFDM. It's like power, whether it's, and that's the energy that you feel. Right. And then it's a complete exchange. It's toggling between the audience and the stage, because when you feel what's coming from the audience, it just makes you feel so much more energized, because KMFDM is very fortunate to have an audience that are so ready to have a good time. Right. They don't stand there like, they're like, yeah,
they get into it. Yep, I remember that. You guys, it becomes very participatory, between the two. It's almost, to me, it kind of reminds me of like a superorganism where all these factions are, interacting with each other to make, something much bigger than just what's on stage too.
Yeah. Well, we want people to feel things for themselves. We don't want them to go there and watch us. We want them to have the experience.
Right.
And, we want them to feel something too. And obviously that's probably what every musician or artist wants the listener or the participant to feel. But in our case, we do take it to the extreme because we're really, we're really right up front.
Right. Now, if you don't mind, this is a little bit more personal, but this goes back to your early days, probably around the time of drill or a little bit before that. You had a sibling, your sister, she passed away was that a big motivator and inspiration for you to get up there and sing and perform?
I was singing before she passed away, that long before. She was actually the first person to believe in me.
Oh, that's great.
She was the very first person to believe in me, and she was, um, I think she was probably the first person to really pique my curiosity about,
Mm.
you know, scary movies and
Oh,
esoteric.
cool. Yeah.
And one day she said to me, you should take voice lessons. And
Mm.
she was always going into the city, and there's a New York paper called The Village Voice. And I said, well, how do I decide? And she said, close your eyes, run your finger over the newspaper,
Mm.
circling it, and then just stop on a name.
Mm.
And that name that I stopped on changed my life. That name that I stopped on was responsible for a whole group of people that would later be involved with the drill record.
Nice. Wow.
And I met that woman when I was 14. And
Oh,
the,
wow. Cool.
yeah, and the truth is, I didn't actually really find my voice. I didn't become the artist that I was embarking on with drill until my sister died. Well, until she became sick, and I had to, my sister had HIV, and
Mm.
she was very ill, and I was very close to her. And just through the process of having to care for her and see her deteriorate in that way, my whole perspective on life changed. Before that, I wasn't really writing music that was that impactful, to be honest. And it's because of her illness that something shifted in me, and I was able to find this voice, this inner power. And it really came from my sister's illness and her love and her belief in me. So yeah, she played a really huge role in my journey. And she's been gone a long time, but I do feel she's still with me, and I still talk to her and feel her presence with me. So, and I believe in that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really powerful. It's really good to be able to, those that we love, still feel their presence and their influence, and know that, no matter how long they're gone, they're always there for you.
Well, they totally are. And if you're the kind of person that believes in some kind of energy that exists after we die, and I'm not talking about, angels sitting on a cloud, but
Right.
I mean, if you have like a more broad understanding of things, whether that's correct or not, but in your mind, you can really get a sense that they're there if you try to connect and look for signs. Whenever I'm thinking of my sister, I'll find like an owl feather. If I'm walking around, I'll be like thinking of her, and then there'll be a feather or a bird tapping on the window. And I believe in that. And even if some people find that silly, it gives me comfort. So
Yeah, that's great. The even like with the horror genre, you have such stories like Frankenstein, about kind of this misfit creation that was abandoned by its creator, and also plays into like such things as body horror and everything that move and make really compelling art, compelling stories, amazing relatable characters, and I think that's where like feeling such things can really propel to such amazing works of art, and sharing in that human experience.
Well, I have. I mean, I've shared things on this record that I've never shared before on my solo record ever. The stories that have happened to me that nobody knows, um, and there's no doubt about it that they're things that have happened to other people, and feelings that other people have experienced. And you're absolutely right. It's through these I mean, look, you never want anything bad to happen to anybody, but bad shit happens to everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, that if you have breath in your body and it hasn't happened, it will, because it's the nature of life. Things do happen to us. It's just the way it is. And we all process it in different ways
Right.
and get through it in different ways. And for me, it's putting it into my art. And
Yeah.
sometimes I turn it into like a creepy, scary song. And sometimes in this case, on my solo record, I'm kind of working through it in a different way. It's still creepy, but it's not as um, the energy is different. You
Right.
know, the energy is different. It's not terrifying. It's more, um, ooh, you know, it's more like a ghost story than a horror film.
Right. Right.
It's not a slasher flick.
No, you're dealing with something, that's texturally, outside of your purview. With ghost stories, there's that haunt, like that, the remnant of something that's still there, whether it's an energy or something like that. I think that's absolutely really, cool, but also oddly enough delightful too.
Yeah, you can't be into horror movies and ghost stories without kind of trying to reach that place by yourself too, right? I mean, we all talk to, for instance, my sister, if I have the belief that I can reach her by talking to her, then you have to believe, if you're going to believe in a little bit, you got to believe in the whole thing, right? You got to believe that it's possible um, to make things happen, through manifestation or um, through faith and just energy.
Yeah.
And I work with all of it in my completely uneducated way because I'm, like I said, I'm always busy writing and there's always so much going on. So I use these tools on a very limited basis because I'm not educated, but I believe that ghosts exist. I believe that, we're living side by side with an alternate reality. And I think that um, there's so much power to be drawn from that, and not like weird ooh stuff, just like it's really cool. It's
Yeah.
if you use it in a positive way and you center your focus and you move in the direction you want to go, you're moving with it and you're bringing it to you. You're bringing towards you the manifestation of what you want, right?
Right. Right. Oh yeah, that's awesome. It's what a great way to to bring that positivity and use it as a motivating force. But yeah, Richard chimed in. Richard's a big fan apparently.
I got to put my glasses on for this. Wait a minute. What's his
Yeah,
name?
that's awesome. I love the whole horror score idea. This is going back to your album, making it a horror movie score of, or influenced by that. The soundtrack idea.
Yeah.
I love it when music reflects the feeling inside. Like if you take the vocal off, you can still get the theme of the story. That's pretty insightful.
I think on this record that is particularly the case because when I was working with Sasha on it, I really wanted the music to reflect the feeling of what I was talking about. So I think he hit the nail right on the head. He's definitely going to feel what I wanted him to feel just simply by listening to the music. So yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned too that a lot of some of the visuals, like with um, Nosferatu here, was a little bit of an influence on some of the album art. Is that right?
Well, it's interesting. I think as I have told you, I'm exploring these different aspects of myself. I think part of it was when I embarked on the album, and the feeling that meeting this guy, his name is James Morgan. He's a really incredible artist and psychic, and
Right.
I think he's a wizard witch himself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and after all these weird things started happening to me, and I was writing in this, I started to feel really empowered.
Mm.
That I felt like a vampire, like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I started to take on a different energy, like, wow, if I really put my mind to something, if I really want this,
Mm.
I don't know if he's helping me manifest this with his talents and his energy, or if I'm doing this on my own, but there's something really powerful about that. And so when I went to shoot the album artwork, I felt like my mannerisms were completely different. And then when I saw the photos, Sasha was like, that looks like Nosferatu. Like, oh, I'm a vampire. I don't know. I don't know. I just felt really charged. I felt because for so much of my life, I didn't have a lot of confidence.
Mm.
I was me and my sister and my sisters and brothers were subject to child abuse from the earliest possible age. And yeah, and we all suffered from that in various ways. And I had a real lack of confidence. Everything felt really stuck. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to do these things, but I was so, closed off and insecure that it took me a really long time to develop my confidence. And, it was because of my sister and her passing that I've unleashed it. And it's through the years of working with KMFDM, and particularly Sasha, who's a big fan of my writing, who's encouraged me and supported what I do, what I bring to it. And, I've just kind of really developed as a result of being with the band. And I've had the freedom to explore all the creepy aspects of my personality, the embodiment of all of these outsider, aspects that you speak of from that make people feel like outsiders, whether they were bullied or they were the bully or they were abused or they were, this or that. I've taken all these experiences and I've made it into my art. I've put it into my art because that's the way for me to connect with the world,
Right. Now it's always interesting to hear these stories about, how people, take, tragedies and personal things like that, and to make it very, transformative and express it, through art. That happens a lot. You find in so many different horror stories over the years. And you see like especially in movies, the clear character arc where they start out at one point and going through hell and back. They're incredibly transformative. I think like one of the more obvious ones that come to mind, and it's really campy and cheesy, is the Evil Dead movies.
Oh, I love those.
I love them. Yeah, I know. Me too. And even like Ash versus the Evil Dead. But you got something, as simple as Ash, as basically, just this bro who's, him and his friends go to the haunted cabin. They find a book. They unleash hell. He's the only one that survives, and he's clearly somebody completely different by the end of it, especially with Evil Dead 2, where he's lost his hand and now he's got a chainsaw for a hand. Quite literally transformative. That's almost not even metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parallels. Exactly. Hit the nail on the head between these character arcs that you see in specifically horror movies, not just, but that's what we're talking about, and that's what we're resonating with, and in real life. And on the first single that I have on the record, which is I don't want to tell you the title or anything because I'm not supposed to give too much away, but it's actually a song that's going to make people feel really good. But the undercurrent of the lyric really is about this kind of dark undercurrent of, you know, how being different in these aspects, you know, we all have them.
Right.
We all have them. The idea of feeling like an outsider, I think just about everybody feels like an outsider for one reason or another.
Right.
You know, even the people that are supposedly accepted and popular and this or that, behind closed doors, I'm sure they have their issues too. You know, there's so much more that connects us in these ways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to suggest that because of my experience, I have a better understanding of being different than anybody else, because I think everybody feels different, you know?
Right. Right. Most definitely. The, yeah, that's the beauty of music. That's the beauty of art. You know, you get to share that, convey that. And yeah, everybody's gonna, at some point in their life, you know, they feel like the outsider.
Yeah.
Just hopefully they have enough, in that moment, they have enough introspection to, you know, be able to share that with everybody and convey that. So many people don't. And
well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show people that if I can do it, then they can do it, because I was the girl voted most likely to fail, you know, by everybody that I know. So
yeah.
if I can do this, if I can, and what have I done? I've just done what I set out to do, and that's basically it. But that's an achievement in itself. And I want, you know, I'm an underdog, and I want to give somebody else an opportunity to be like, well, if she can do it, hell yeah, I can do it too. You know, if she could feel this way about herself as a result of going through this and that, and she could like pull herself up, I can do it too. So I just want to give people some kind of courage, and maybe the way that I do it is a bit odd and doesn't look the same way as people that are more mainstream than me. But I think my kind of aesthetic really reflects a lot of people out there, because I think there's a lot of people that have like a fascination with the occult or horror movies, things like this, and they relate to the subject matter and themes. So
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's a lot of people out there. Richard chimed in again.
You're the only one there, Richard.
Yeah. I got these guys on their live show. It's like seeing, I think he's describing KMFDM. It's like seeing Alice Cooper's show that Andrew Eldrick wrote after drinking with Wes Craven and watching German expressionists and films. I really like that description. That's
why, because I love Andrew Eldridge.
Yeah.
Oh, bravo. I like that. Thank you, Richard, the only guy on the show.
Oh, well, Sean just chimed in and said that he caught KMFDM at a dive bar in Jacksonville named the Milk Bar in '99. It was a great show.
Oh my God! Wow.
So, well, and you know, Sasha goes back a long ways. I wonder if he's a vampire, because that guy doesn't age. Your husband doesn't seem to, you know, doesn't seem to lose any energy, and neither do you.
No, he's completely opposite to me. He really is, but we complement each other really well. And he's somebody who, you know, the secret to life is doing what you love. That really is. I mean, if you want to be happy in this world, you got to do what you love. And he was supported on that. He didn't have parents that told him to become a banker, or no disrespect to bankers, but, you know, he wasn't like pushed in any direction. He was completely just told to do what he loved in a lot of ways. And he did. And he does it every single day of his life. And that makes him happy. And he sometimes stays up all night making music. And, you know, there's music playing all the time, and we're cooking and eating. And, you know, that's what we do. And we're very lucky because we both do it together. We love to do it. There's not we're not with other people who are like, I've been sleeping. I've slept under consoles when people are mixing records. We just love what we do, and he probably looks as good as he does because he doesn't feel unhappy about what he's doing. He loves his life.
That's fantastic. The Jared chimed in, said love them, love KMFDM, and
right on.
Sandra said girl power. Can't wait to see you in Denver again. You rock.
Yes, very soon, hopefully.
And then Richard had to chime in one more time too. Yeah, horror is a great theme for that. Like he said with Ash, usually the main in a horror story goes through the massive trauma, kind of like the final girl too at the end of a lot of these films. And if you're trying to reach those people, it's a great metaphor.
Well, I feel like the girl who's lived through a lot of trauma in the horror movies, so I think I could do it. I mean, like I said, it's all relative, right? All of our experiences, we're processing it through our own lens, our own perspective. But I hope that even for somebody who's experienced something that is, God, there's so many far worse things that people endure in their lives. I hope that this will somehow inject them with some kind of feeling that will be like, I can, I'm not alone. The album is not about specifically surviving anything. It's like a roller coaster. It's sexy. It's hot. It's got moments of everything on it. And I think we all embody all of this. So I didn't want it to be like a sad sack record. It's not. It's about everything I wanted to be. It's about overcoming shit. It's about like being in control and not being dead. It's about it all.
Nice.
And I think everybody has at some point in their life felt all those things. So you're gonna like have some creepy goosebumpy feels, and you're also going to have some like throwdown feels, and you're going to want to throw off your clothes and dance around in your underwear, and then when it's all over, you're going to be like,
yeah. What did I was going to say? Have you been keeping an eye on me? What else are you going to do during COVID?
Yeah, right. At the end of the day, is you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. Hopefully, right? As long as you got breath in your body and a will to survive and a dream in your heart, you can push through it. I'm I'm still here, so.
You're still rocking it.
I'm still rocking it, and I'm like, I've been around a long time, and I'm still not where I want to be, but who the fuck cares, right? You got to keep on going.
Right, most definitely. Lucia, man, thanks so much for talking to us. Real quick, do you have a release date for the new album?
I do. I can tell you, I want to tell you so much, but I can't tell you more than the release dates. I can tell you that my first single is coming out on May 28th.
May 28th. Nice.
Yes. And there will be a second single sometime in June, and the album arrives July 2nd. It will be coming through all, I'm going to be releasing it with Metropolis Records, the same home of KMFDM's records. And, it'll be released physically on CD and vinyl and all digital streaming services. So it's going to be really proper and readily available in all formats. But I will be sharing artwork and track lists and stories, individual stories. I mean, I've given you some great insight into it, but I'll tell everybody more very soon, just as soon as I can. Thank you so much for having me and letting me talk to you. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was great. I absolutely love it. That's why I do this. I love connecting with people, and over a love of horror and art and music. It's great, and I think people really, need tools like this to connect, because the world's kind of isolated right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thanks so much for coming on the show. Yeah, just if you could, Lucia, just go ahead, hang out for a second.
Oh yeah. I'm just going to put on my glasses to see, what do you need me to do?
Yeah. 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 Again, thanks to you and for coming on, and to Sasha and all the amazing art that you guys give the world, because it's greatly appreciated and well loved, I think.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Without you guys, we got nothing. So
yeah. Oh, appreciate it. And then to everybody that was able to tune in, and let's see here. To Richard especially, and everybody that commented. Thanks so much for participating in the broadcast. We love you guys. And then thanks to Mutiny Information Cafe, for putting up with us. Yeah, if you're going to start a revolution, make sure it's caffeinated. Groovy TV, and for Hellfire Entertainment for broadcasting us, and then of course our main sponsor, Alien Donut Films. Thanks so much, guys, and Angela and Bill over there, and then my producers, Stefan Santa Cruz and Amanda Armstrong. Thanks so much, and everybody in the world. Make sure you take care of each other, love each other, look out for each other, and we'll see you next time. Take care.